product to start with than the almighty Arctis Pro wireless edition. So these guys are something I've had for a little while, probably 5 to 6 months, I would say. I wanted to get a pretty good feel for them before I did this, because they are priced at about $330, so that's a pretty hefty price for a headset, any headset, to be honest. So I was skeptical, honestly, and I really wanted to get a good idea before I did this. So that being said, they do pack quite a few features. So we'll get into those. First, we'll start with design, comfort, things like that, features. So they are a wireless headset. You do have the option to set up through a 3.5mm headphone jack if you'd like, but it's for the quality of this, you don't lose any quality for the wireless features. So I would say wireless is going to be your go-to on this. You don't need to have it wired. And as far as design, so they do have, well, we'll start with this. So we do have a metal aluminum banding on the top that is covered by your elastic, you know, typical material. And this is obviously adjustable. You can make this tighter, and then depending on your head size and whatnot. But these they're very durable. You'll never feel like you're gonna break these. They are, you know, very very safe. You could drop them many times. You're not gonna be worried about breaking these guys at all. So that's nice. And then as far as the headphones themselves, it is a foam. It's just a foam material in here, and then it's covered by a mesh material, which is pretty typical for headphones, I would say. But they feel good. They don't make your ear sweat. They don't. You don't really feel any ear fatigue either, which is nice. So I would say all day gaming, you're not gonna notice them really. So that's definitely a good thing to look for in headphones. You don't want something that's gonna tire out your ears and basically make you not want to wear them anymore. And then as far as these guys, both sides have these removable plates, and you can actually order plates, replacement plates, like customize them and things like that. So this side has nothing under here. It's just a design, and these are all magnetic, so they slide in pretty easily. But this side, however, has a removable battery. In the packaging, everything that came with it actually came with 2 of these. So these are removable. You know, you just put your battery in there, and then these are actually rated at 10 hours a piece for continuous play. So I've used these for quite a while, like I said, and yeah, 10 hours is not it's not a overstatement. It's very realistic. I have had nothing lower than 10, honestly. So that's something you definitely don't have to worry about. And it's really nice because they came with 2, and they came with a charging dock and everything. So basically, you'll always have one battery charging at all time. So you're not going to have to plug in and charge it while you're using it. That's very annoying. But yeah, this one is also removable, and you can get custom plates for this side as well. So we'll get on to the functionality here. So right here we do have your very typical power button, and then here we also have your Bluetooth button. So nice thing about this is you can plug into your PC or your PlayStation, whatever you're using them with. That's what it's compatible with. It's PC and PlayStation 4. So if you're plugged into your console or your PC, you can actually connect to a Bluetooth device as well, and it receives audio sources from both. Or audio signals from both sources at the same time. So that's really nice. Something you don't see too often, especially in headphones, so that's cool. And then on this side, you do have, your first button is going to be your mic mute button, and then it's just a little, see, you have a little orange meter letting you know when it's muted or not. But also, when your mic is muted, you'll have a little red LED that's basically just signifying that it is muted. And then from there, we do have your typical volume rocker, nothing special here. And then here is actually an audio share cable, which I don't think it's too useful, honestly. It's a nice feature to have, I guess, in certain situations. Basically, you can plug in another device to this, and they'll hear what you're hearing. So I guess if you had a friend over and they wanted to watch content, and you didn't have external speakers, maybe that could be useful then. You do have your 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, so if you wanted to wire in through a phone or whatnot, you could definitely do that. And then you have your micro USB port right here. That's basically for charging if you wanted to charge it. Maybe you didn't charge the battery and you didn't have another one, the backup charged. You could charge that there, and then you do have your mic. Just retractable, very durable. Do whatever you want with a kind of mic, and it goes in nice and safe. You're not going to worry about damaging this because it's pretty well made. So that's nice. As far as the actual sound quality of the speakers, we'll get into that a little bit. So it's a maximum of 40 hertz or 40,000 hertz frequency. So what that is basically, that's going to be the higher the hertz, the higher the quality of audio you're going to receive. So it's a pretty good number. A lot of headphones do have those. That's actually shared throughout the Arctis Pro line. So they all have that 40,000. So it's delivering pretty high quality through those drivers. And you'll definitely notice that. They get very loud if you ever need to, which I don't know, it's not necessary, I guess, if you're, I don't know, like an audiophile and you're trying to listen to music. They're nice. They do come with their SteelSeries software that you can customize profiles, things like that, which is recommended to download. I would definitely do that because they have some okay features there to play with. Something definitely do take a look at. Now, outside of the headphones themselves, they do come with this receiver. So this is very nice. You have, well, obviously it's not plugged in, but you would have it's a little LED display here. It'll show, depending on what screen you're on, you do have your knob that can change them. So it'll be like PC volume, chat volume. You do have mixer options here. You have side tones you can set up. There's quite a few things you can set up with this guy. And you do have all this. This is basically selecting and controlling along with this as well. Now on the back of this guy, this is where most of your connections are going to come in. So if you're using PlayStation, you do have your optical in and out. You do have your USB connection. You do have your DC power adapter if you want to just keep it powered in all the time, which is what I do. And then you do have your line in, your line out. So if you have like external speakers you want to set up, something like that, you can definitely do that. It's pretty straightforward. Now this is how your batteries charge. When it's plugged in, you basically just swap out your dead battery, put it in here, charges, and then it is good to go when your other one dies. So that is very, very useful. Something that is impressive to me, honestly, because that's something you don't see in a lot of receivers, things like that, with an external battery, let alone more than one. So that's nice. Now, in gaming headsets, especially wireless ones, you're never expecting to have a decent sounding mic. And that was kind of my biggest concern with these. And it's funny because when I opened these up out of the box and I used them, it sounded awful. Everyone was like, yo, those headphones are awful. So I was like, okay, well, what's going on? I paid, a decent amount of money for this. I'm expecting a pretty decent microphone on there. But there's a couple things that I was doing wrong. So they do have the ability to do 10,000 hertz microphone frequency, which isn't bad. It's not terrible. I'll give you a demonstration here.
Alright guys, so here I am back on my desktop, kind of just letting you know how the mic sounds. Now this is not how it sounded out of the box, as I mentioned, so there's a little bit of tweaking and things I had to do, but I didn't expect to have to do that when I first got it. So I was a little confused. Everyone said, the mic, hey, it doesn't sound that good. Because I came from a Yeti, the thing I don't like about Yetis in external mics is that there's a lot of setup you need to do. You do have to have a lot of you just gotta be, because they pick up a lot of background noise, so you really have to kind of, I don't know, just you have to change a lot of your setup to make it so you don't pick up all that, because I got a mechanical keyboard, and when you have a mechanical keyboard, you're gonna hear everything. With a Yeti or something like that, Um, so I was not a big fan of that. So I really wanted to get a headset that had a decent enough sounding mic so I didn't have to go through all that all the time. So that being said, out of the box, I was. And yeah, so this is where you're gonna want to go. You're gonna want to go down to your audio settings down here and go to your sound, and then you will find your recording device, which is going to be the Arctis Pros. And we'll go into properties, and then here. So I believe it was 8,000 hertz when I got out of the box. So I'm gonna change that, and you're gonna notice here in a second. Okay, so you can probably hear this. It probably sounds a lot worse. I can't hear it because I don't have live playback on, but it doesn't probably does not sound quite as good. Um, and that is definitely something I was not okay with. I wanted something that sounded decent enough, I guess you could say. So I was like, and as you can see, actually it says telephone quality, so that is it's not pushing too much. It's not getting sampled very often. So when we come down here, you can actually switch it to 48,000 hertz DVD quality, which is considerably better. We still are at one channel and 16 bits, but I'm gonna switch it over. You should be able to notice the difference here. Okay, so that should have changed. I don't have live playback on, as I said, so I can't notice it. However, you guys should be able to tell the difference. Um, so that is where your audio quality is going to come from. You do have a few other options you can go into, like you can do rename it obviously if you wanted to. You could also do, if you wanted to listen to this device, you could set it up. You can kind of monitor your own audio levels. That helps a little bit. And this, I would say, is a good thing, or a 70 is probably a good place to leave this. I wouldn't go too much over this because you're going to end up getting a little bit of background noise. So I think 70 is pretty much safe for that. And then, yeah, like I said, 48,000, their highest quality available. You're going to want to keep that as. And actually, I might be able to pull up the SteelSeries software that it came with as well. Here we go. Or that it is recommended to have as well. So you'll have your devices that you have on here. It'll give you a little bit of overview on things. So here we go. We have some options. So we do have Bluetooth auto startup. If you wanted that, it's not something I am ever gonna want to use. So I don't use Bluetooth that often on these. So it's not something I'm too interested in. You do have your LED options here, your timeout options, things like that, your screen brightness, and then when your mic is muted, that little LED, how bright that is. And this actually is, so when you get Bluetooth calls, you have the option to mute that or lower the volume of your game. That's something, I guess, if you plan on taking calls and things. I've never actually taken them. It'd be interesting to actually check that out. But we also have your 7.1 surround sound, which is a good thing to have on. You have your profiles if you ever wanted to mess with these guys. I'm not too interested in changing these, to be honest. Is that Ferguson? No. And then you do have some options here as far as equalizers. Now this is a sound limiter, so like it's to be honest, I don't know how this sounds with or without this. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave this off where it was, and then you do have another option to do live mic review, and then you have the option to set up side tones as well. So those are some pretty helpful options for this guy. And I would always recommend downloading the SteelSeries software because it is very helpful. So I would definitely do that. But yeah, that pretty much sums it up. I would say for the price tag of $330 with all of the features it has, I would say they are worth it. Um, they, as far as like compatibility with the PlayStation 4, with the PC, with your Bluetooth, with all the connections, the multiple batteries, the premium design, I would say they're worth it. They, if anything, I would say the mic could always be better. However, it's something that's not easy to do, especially if it's a wireless headset. So I would say the mic is above average for sure. So that's good. Something I am definitely satisfied with. So overall, I would say this headset is definitely worth it. If you guys pick up a pair, let me know. Let me know how you like it. See if you disagree with me. See if you know if you have any questions. I can definitely help you out. Um, But yeah, this is gonna come to a conclusion. So let me know, guys.